Hi everyone, it's Bert from Seasoned Gaming, and welcome to Bitcast 63. I'm joined as usual with the same crew that we always have, Dan and Ains. We have a great review for you from Dan. It's going to be on Judgment. We also have another one of his reviews up on the site for Blood and Truth, so we're not going to go over that one today, but check it out on our site. We have a couple rumors for you, and then we're going to talk about BSG, our latest backseat gaming episode. But let's go ahead and kick off the news like we usually do. Like I said, this time of the year, not as much news as you typically see before E3 and stuff like that, but we do have some fun stuff that has happened in the past week. So let's kick it off. There was an investors Q&A with Nintendo, and unsurprisingly, it looks like technology is not one of their biggest priorities currently going on right now. So it looks like they're going to be focusing on software instead of new tech, unlike Microsoft and Sony. But let's talk a little bit about this. So, Ains, we have this story up on our site for people that want to see the complete detail of everything that was kind of mentioned. So it looks like VR, the real VR, not the Labo kit, is not even a priority for them, or even new hardware that's pushing the limits. Is that what we're seeing from them?
Yeah, essentially, they're talking about focusing on the install base primarily, and the gamers that just want that Switch and Nintendo IP. So there wasn't a whole lot that was surprising in the Q&A. I just think that, to me, it's a little disappointing, although I'm not surprised, right? Focusing on the Switch install base seems to be the right move. We've talked endlessly about how well the Switch is doing, and it's hard to argue with their methodology given their success. But it would have been nice to get a little more information on Nintendo Online or pushing the boundaries, of what they're doing with future Switch hardware, or just, their cloud investments, just something that was more forward thinking. We didn't really get any of that. If you look through the Q&A, the questions about Switch Online, VR, cloud streaming, all those kind of emerging technologies were pretty much just passed over. So pretty much what you expect from Nintendo. Like I said, hard to argue with the results, but for guys like us, I think that are more on the hardcore side of tech and, like to see things that push the boundaries a little more, like new consoles, more powerful stuff, 4K, what have you, is a little disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, we were all hoping for that next Switch, right? We were trying to, get something that would last longer than 2 hours and maybe have a better resolution than 120p. So, something that would, that we want, the hardcore fans. However, they're selling so many consoles. Yeah. I mean, they're just killing it on the hardware side right now. So I guess they really don't have to focus on it so much. But and maybe this means we'll get less ports. I don't know. Maybe this they'll work on some games that some fresh games, some new games, Metroid Prime 4, just something that I can sink my teeth into, even though it's at a terrible resolution. But I still love my Switch.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I've been playing a lot of Zelda, and just one quote on that is funny. I think we've kind of talked about it at least a little bit before, but pretty much everyone that's either Xbox or PlayStation also has a Switch. It's like the second console, right? And I heard someone say the other day, if you're second in a market like this, if everyone has a secondary console, then you're first by default. Mm-hmm. Right? Because it doesn't matter whether you have Xbox or PlayStation, you still have a Switch. And that seems to be, I would guess that that's a big percentage of Switch owners. I don't think there's a ton of people out there that are just gaming on a Switch.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because we always talk about Switches, so much software that exists on there, but I've always mentioned that if you go on their online store, the Nintendo store, I forgot what the official name
eShop.
is. eShop, yeah, there's so much junk on there that's just utter crap. Shovelware. That is not, it's not even something that, I remember the old quality of Nintendo sticker that used to be on stuff, it was so awesome, and that just got turned into something completely different. But, I just wish we got some more, AAA software on the console, even if it's exclusive to the console. We don't really have that much. That is, as Dan joked, it's not a port, and I'm just looking for something new from them. I think we have a rumor that we're going to talk about once again about their potential next console. We'll talk about that when we get to rumors, but it's just weird. I mean, arguably Nintendo Switch is more successful at this point in their generation than the PlayStation 4 was, and not specifically just from a sales perspective, but also just getting the base plugged into the Switch in general. is kind of it's a surprise for a lot of us. But as we kind of mentioned, we saw this coming with Nintendo to an extent. I don't think it was as this big of a success that we were expecting, but it's definitely something that has been kind of a surprise. And my Switch has dust on it like crazy, so I'm looking for something new to play that I haven't played already.
I don't know if you heard, but Resident Evil 1 is now available.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Get on it, boy.
Anyways, moving along to an actual sequel that is coming up is Gears 5. So as we saw at E3, we didn't see a ton of gameplay from campaign, or even the trailers were kind of short, but they did mention that they were going to have some upcoming content to look forward to in July, August, up until the release date of September. So there has been already some of that leaking out, or I shouldn't even say leaking out, but releasing for us to look at. We did get a look at the District map, which is one of the new maps that's coming out for there. They have talked a little bit about their competitive online sports gaming stuff. I think it's called E-League. Is that right, Ains, if I'm remembering that correctly? And then we have a technical test coming out later this month, towards the end of the month. I believe, if I'm looking at my notes correctly, it's July 19th. And that is for insiders and Game Pass subscribers. So if you're not a Game Pass subscriber, whether it be Ultimate or just Standard or even Gold, look into that. You'll be able to get the Ultimate version of Gears 5 at launch. But here we are, already starting to see some stuff for Gears 5. What are your guys' thoughts here? Dan, I know you're not the biggest Gears fan, but you're looking forward to getting more into this one. Is that right, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, I haven't played multiplayer Gears since, I think, 2. So it's been quite a while. I'm going to try to get into that technical test. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what it is. Is it like actual just one map in multiplayer?
They haven't said yet.
They haven't said anything? Okay. Well, whatever it is, I'm an insider and a Game Pass subscriber, so if I don't get in, I'm going to riot. Yep. That's what's going to happen.
I think
take it easy over there.
I think the technical test is going to be Escalation, which is the full-on competitive mode that they use for E-League, King of the Hill, and then a new mode called Arcade, which I think is like the entry-level multiplayer. So it's a multiplayer tech test, right? But
that's me.
But I think you'll like Escape, too, which we've talked about. A 3-player co-op. In fact, it's perfect for the three of us.
Yep.
So we can play around with that. But, so this weekend they showed... they did a lead-up, basically, where they showed the District map, which looks really good. It reminded me of Hotel from Gears 3, which multiplayer Gears fans will know
Love it.
well. But they did a lead-up to the Pro League, and this upcoming weekend, as you're listening to this, is the first actual E-League competition. So 8 teams competing, Gears 5 multiplayer. We'll get to see all the footage. It's actually on TBS on Friday night. Along with Mixer and I think YouTube and stuff. So pretty excited. I'm really excited to get my hands on the actual multiplayer because all they had at E3 was Escape. I want to see what the multiplayer feels like.
Great. Yeah, and Dan, to your point, you were mentioning you were trying to get into it. Well, there's a lot of stuff that you can play. Obviously, the campaign's going to be fun from a story perspective. We'll see more on that, I believe, in August is when they mentioned. You have typical Horde mode, which is fun. You don't have to play other people online. You play together with folks. You have Escalation, which we got our hands on at E3, which is super fun. And you can play that against AI.
Escape, you mean, Bert.
Oh, I'm sorry, Escape. And then you have the multiplayer, which is probably not up your alley. I know, fighting against other people is not your favorite thing, but it's awesome for people that play multiplayer. Yeah, the learning curve is nuts on it, but once you get that feeling down, it's unlike almost every other game when it comes to multiplayer. The best headshots in any game, I think, from a sound perspective. We look forward to having you join the Horde.
Oh my goodness! Usually those jokes are reserved for me.
Yeah, those are pretty bad.
Yeah,
I appreciate you, Bert.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
I'm out.
Anyway, so here's an exciting / sad story that we have, and it's regarding the Cuphead DLC, which we've been waiting for a while. We got a slight teaser for it with a little bit of gameplay that they showed. And that's super exciting. We got to finally see more of it. We've been wanting to see more of it. The negative thing is that it has been delayed to 2020. So I'm going to let Ains comment on this one first. I'll be playing the tiny violin for him while he's playing this, but at the same time, your backlog is nuts, Ains, and you have tons of stuff coming in the fall. So maybe this came at the right time. What are you thinking here? Did you like what you saw from the teaser?
Yeah, teaser looked great. I love the way they announced it. And, it is what it is. They're not going to sacrifice their lives. I think there are only like 12 people working on the game. So they're not going to just work, 18-hour days to get it out this year, and they don't want to sacrifice the quality. So no big deal. Bring it next year. I'll be pumped for it then, and there's plenty to play, like we always say.
Yeah, that's no joke. I mean, even between now and then, I mean, if you can't keep yourself busy as a gamer, then you've got issues. I only played a little bit of Cuphead, mostly because I suck. But it's gorgeous. I love the art style, and I love the challenge, except it got a little bit too much for me. And I like my TV, and I didn't really want to throw anything through it. So, but this is exciting news. I mean, it's great that they're in a they're going in a different direction than a lot of these studios are going. Where you hear about the crunch all the time, and these guys are just like, listen, we're going to take our time. We're not going to beat our guys down, and we're just going to. It comes out when it comes out.
Yeah.
You know what? That's fine. We've got other stuff to play. We should be fine for a while.
And I think they're fortunate because, Cuphead merchandise is just everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're licensed the hell out of it, so they're pulling in the money. I'm actually kind of surprised. I don't know what you guys think. I'm kind of surprised with it being as small as they are that Microsoft hasn't made a push to buy them yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
maybe they have, and maybe studio said no. I don't know, but it seems like a perfect fit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would actually argue to an extent that there's too much merchandise for the game.
There is a ton.
As a casual collector of Cuphead stuff, I there's no way I can even keep up with that. I tried to at the beginning, even got some of the expensive prints, a few of the pops, and a few of the figures and stuff, and I was like, I'm not going to try to keep up with this, and there's no way that I can. So, but I think Ains has all of them, more than likely.
I have a lot.
Yeah.
I have a lot.
Yes, he does.
Okay, another one. This looks like the news today is almost tailored for Ains in general.
Pretty much.
So it's almost like it's just for you. But there's a new Evil Dead game on the way. So Ains a huge Evil Dead fan. Dan, I'm not sure if you're as big of the Evil Dead fan as Ains is, but this is a big deal because we haven't seen an Evil Dead game since 2005, and I believe that one was called Evil Dead Regeneration. So we've had a show come back. We've had an overall series come back. I think there was a movie that recently came out in the last 3 or 4 years that was received pretty well, but we have an overall show that came back as well. So this is pretty big news. Actually, Ains, I'm going to let you speak more about this one since you probably know more about this one than any of us, but very cool to see who's attached to it. Do you know anything else about it? What are the details here?
Yeah, so Bruce Campbell is the one that talked about it, so he's obviously in it. It's going to be based around Ash. I think you kind of have to sell an Evil Dead game with Ash, right? Because the Evil Dead itself isn't going to sell it. So he did mention it's consoles and PC. He accidentally mentioned VR, I think, originally, and he took that back. So consoles, PC, Evil Dead game, he's attached. I think that's all we know right now. But it is interesting. I don't know who's developing it, but I hope it's not just a small budget, crappy game. I hope they put some effort into it. So we'll see.
Did you play the last one?
Regeneration, no. The one that was more well known was on PS2 and Dreamcast, which I actually still have for my Dreamcast, called Hail to the Boomstick or something like that.
Yes.
Hail to my Boomstick.
That's alrighty.
It was something like that.
No, I've watched the movies. I like the movies. Never played any of the games. If you don't know who it is, then, I mean, even I do. And I'm not even a horror movie fan. So, back in, I don't know if it was high school or what. Gosh, that was like the boomstick thing was the biggest.
Yeah.
And everybody was talking about it, and I was just like, I have no idea.
Especially when Army of Darkness came out.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, I mean, that was the first one I saw. So I had to go back and watch the other ones, but...
Have you seen the one from 2012 or the remake?
I have not.
Oh, no. I would love to see you watch that.
Maybe there's a backseat gaming /movie we can do.
Oh, man. I am down.
I would probably fly up there for that one.
It is one of the hardest movies to watch because of how painfully, gory some of the stuff is.
Really?
It's not... There's no humor. There's no humor at all.
Oh. Yeah. That might be a hard pass.
Yeah.
So.
And I actually love that movie, so I'm a big fan of that director. I think his name is Fede Alvarez or something like that. He kind of had some short stories that he did, and then they put him into here. But just, which you should show him, Ains. If you could pull it up on your laptop, maybe at the end, we should do like a live trailer reaction with Dan of just the trailer.
And the trailer is nothing compared to the movie. We took my stepson when he was 16 to see it, and about half an hour into the movie, he was sitting in a seat like this, and he looked at us, and he's like, "Why did you bring me to this?"
That would have been me. Yep. I would have probably walked out. I gotta get some more popcorn.
Brutal.
Yep.
There's a scene with a tongue, and I can just tell you that much. Just remember the tongue.
So gross.
Anyways, so we don't know that much about that game yet. We'll talk more about it as we get, official details as far as, maybe dates, maybe a teaser trailer or something. But so far from Bruce Campbell, who's hilarious in his own right, we got a few details from there. So, next story we wanted to talk about is Wreckfest. So if you are a PC gamer, you've probably played Wreckfest already. We were at E3 and we did get to play what looked like a console build, but I wouldn't be surprised if it actually was the PC build with a console controller and playing it there. It's one of our most viewed videos as far as off-screen content that we were able to record at E3. A lot of questions from it, and we finally got a release date for it. It is coming on August 27th to consoles. So PlayStation 4, Xbox, I do not think there is a Switch version on the way.
No.
But this is going to be pretty fun. A lot of people are very excited about this one. If you're a Demolition Derby type game player, or maybe you like the Dirt series, this is going to be right down your alley. Has a huge following on the PC crowd, and now we're going to be seeing it on console.
Yeah, and the little bit I've seen of it, it looks awesome. Kind of like Burnout, like Paradise City, or the Wrecking, right? Is that the same? Is that the same one I'm thinking of? Wreckfest? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Potentially, yeah.
So it has race series you can do where you wreck each other, and then it also has like full on just arena destruction derby.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
Yep. Burnout Paradise is one of my most played games. I almost got the 1,000 out of 1,000, except I couldn't get 8 people to play online at the same time, so that was kind of tough. But I like racing games. I like wrecking people. So sounds like a great
Peanut butter and chocolate.
It's perfect.
Yeah, we played this at E3. So we got some footage of it, as Bert said, and then we played the actual Demolition Derby mode as well, which was a lot of fun. So I could see it's neat because you get a point system and there's leaderboards, and people will be competing with each other online, of course. So yeah, I'm excited for this actually. I'll definitely be picking it up. There's something else coming out right there. Now, I think Blair Witch comes out August 30th too. So those 2 games come out the same week.
It's too many games.
Yeah, too many games, but that will be one I'll try to play as soon as it comes out. Let's hope it's running well.
By the way, Bert, it's Evil Dead Hail to the King was the Dreamcast one, not Hail to My Boomstick.
Man.
Got it right there on camera for you. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Hail to my
Okay,
boomstick.
well, yeah, Dan, so if you liked any of the Dirt games, which are maybe a little slightly more realistic take on rally racing or dirt racing in general, not always rally, but if you like that, this one might be down your alley, as Ains was saying. It's got some cool stuff. The engine looks to be really entertaining, super fun, so maybe that's something you'll be into. So, right around the corner. Another racer that we are not going to be seeing this year, a new version of, is the Forza series. So Turn 10 did do a Q&A recently, and they were talking specifically about the next Forza Motorsport. So if you're kind of new or have heard the name Forza talked about, yeah, Forza Motorsport, which takes more of a realistic simulator type game where you're on a track, you're playing somewhere specifically in a famous track in a normal car, whereas Forza Horizon is more of the arcade racer where you can go off-road and you can do all kinds of stuff with music, and there's these festivals that you attend. 2 completely different games, and they've usually kind of interchanged each other every other year. Well, this year we got the DLC from LEGO for Forza Horizon. If the schedule was to follow the same way, we would have had a Forza Motorsport, I believe, where we'd be at 8 now is where we're at. But we didn't get one this year, and in this Q&A, they talked about why they have delayed it and why we were probably going to be seeing the next version, and I believe we are going to be seeing the next version, on the next generation Xbox. So there was a lot of stuff that was recently mentioned on there. We do have the complete Q&A up on our site, so if you want to look deeper into there, but they did talk about new physics that are going to be happening, drafting, tire modeling, suspension physics, which they've done pretty well already, but it's pretty much the evolution of these things in a racer. So if you play Gran Turismo or Forza, this is kind of the stuff you would expect the game to evolve into. A lot of good things here, and it looks like they're getting back to the fundamentals of road racing the way it should be. So, Ains, Dan, do you guys want to talk any more about this one? I know we're big car guys here, so what are your thoughts here? Is this where you guys want the Forza Motorsport series to be heading to?
Yeah, I think this is good. It's cool to hear that they have a fundamentals team within Turn 10 focusing on AI and physics. I think me, you, and some of the car guys have discussed that, Forza's kind of slowed down on their evolutions in the past couple entries. You know, they were the clear leader at one point, and they've kind of slipped a little bit, I would say, despite still being very good games. So this is good. I think the extra year, obviously it'll be mind-blowing on Scarlet, I'm sure. But I hope they really do evolve the AI, the physics, and just how they approach the actual series in the game too. How, you know, what you can do from a career perspective. I hope they reinvent that to make it more fun.
Yeah, I liked how 7 had the 5 different series or whatever
They could
was.
work through. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't play that one as much as I probably should have, because I mean I really do like Forza. As long as there's a rewind button. Yep. Sorry. But it's super fun and it's gorgeous to look at. Bring it on. That's what I would say.
Had to get that in there.
I'm getting in there. Bring it on. See you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, so from a guy that has probably 60, 80 hours in Forza, the most recent one, 7, I would say that I hope that they're doing some evolution into some of the graphics as well. When you put Gran Turismo and Forza together, Gran Turismo on track, in my opinion, looks better, but Forza just has so many features and cars and tracks everywhere that it seems like that's the place that they should be putting some more time into. So I hope they're doing that the same way everybody else is trying to get better at it. I think Grid coming back from the Codemasters team is going to be interesting as well, because they'll be bringing something kind of raw and new to the racing world. So we'll see how it is. But I more than anything cannot wait for that first trailer from Forza that's going to be on that next generation hardware.
Be E3 next year, I'm sure of it.
Jeez.
They have to. It's going to be awesome. I just hope it's going to be something mind-blowing, because I will say 7 was good, no doubt, but it just was more of a graphical upgrade to that 4K to just highlight the X, I think, more than anything, than be something new to the series, which was kind of unfortunate. So, okay, so let's talk about some fun news coming up. So we did get some news that the Uncharted movie, which has been in development for probably 32 years, is finally coming. And in that conversation, we do have an actor attached to Nathan Drake. It's Tom Holland, who is going to be part of our next news section. So he's currently the guy that plays Spider-Man, in case you're wondering who in the world that is. And that kind of gets you thinking. So Tom Holland is kind of a younger-looking actor. Nathan Drake in the games is probably someone in their late 30s, early 40s, got the Indiana Jones mentality. It's an older type story that has taken place. Well, with Tom Holland being attached to it, it is going to be Nathan Drake in his younger years, and that's all they've told us about it. We don't have a release window. I'm guessing somewhere in 2020 to 2021 is when this is coming out. Tom Holland's still in full Spider-Man contracts and everything, so we'll see what happens there. But this could be good or bad in my opinion. I think, funny enough for me, in the Uncharted games, the least entertaining parts of the games for me was when you went back and played as young Nathan Drake. I didn't care for those that much, but I'm guessing here that hopefully they have a good story to run with. So what do you guys think here? Good, bad news, up or down? What do you guys think?
That's what they need. They're going to need a really, really good story. I think people are so... like that's one of those games that people have been ingrained in people's minds, and they've seen, this is the person who's going to play this person, this is the person who's going to play this person. They had that small, what was it, Nathan Fillion?
Yeah.
They did that little fan-made thing. That was amazing. And that's, he looks just like him. But, I don't know. I like Tom Holland. I think he's, probably my favorite Spider-Man. I'm not sure if this is going to hit or not. It's a crapshoot, I guess. You're probably right. It's either going to be good or bad.
Stating the obvious.
Yep.
It's going to be good or bad.
That's what you said.
It could be good, bad, or it could be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with starting a little earlier. I'm more concerned about, can he convince us that he's Nathan Drake? Nathan Drake is a very strong personality. I think all three of us love him. We love the Uncharted games. All I got to say, Tom, is you better know those games inside and out and really understand Drake, because if you don't have his personality and his humor, then it's going to fall flat.
Yeah.
Yep. So, funny enough, I'm a big Nathan Fillion fan. I mean, go Serenity forever, go, Firefly, keep going. But, I will tell you, a guy who I think would be better than him as Nathan Drake is Kyle Chandler You guys know who that is?
I thought you were going to say The Rock.
Yeah.
No.
Also,
The Rock can go away for a couple of years.
Mark
I'm a little over
Wahlberg?
his...
Kyle Chandler.
No, he was actually tied to the role originally.
I know, we were joking about that. No, I don't know who Kyle Chandler is.
No idea.
So, Ains, we saw him recently in Godzilla King of the Monsters. He plays the dad. I don't know if you remember him, Kyle Chandler.
The dad.
Mark Russell, he plays him.
I'm sure if I saw him,
anyways,
I would.
Yeah. Look him up when you get a chance. I think if he was to have the comedic side, which he doesn't have a lot of the times in his roles today, he would be a perfect Nathan Drake in his older years. So, anyways, let's hope they have that story pretty good from a plot perspective. Tom Holland is a good actor, but he has to nail that part in order to kind of convince us that, as Ains said, that he is Nathan Drake. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, I know Kyle Chandler, yeah.
Yeah, and seeing him in Godzilla and running away from things and kind of having a slight sense of humor, I thought he was almost perfect as Nathan Drake. But
yeah, I know that dude.
Yeah,
he's from something.
He's from Friday Night Lights as well.
Yeah.
If you watch Friday Night,
But he was in that good Bloodline. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. Yep, that was more of a serious role though, so it's kind of you have to kind of think hard for a second. Okay, the next one, as I did mention, Tom Holland is kind of part of the story, but if you have been playing Insomniac's SpiderMan game on the PlayStation 4, and you have logged in recently, you will have noticed that there's 2 new suits for you. So if you've watched the latest Spider-Man movie, there was the typical Spider-Man outfit that is available, and then there is additional one that he puts on during the movie. It's the noir outfit. It's the black one that looks more of like a stealth type character. Both of those are available on the game for free, so you don't have to pay for any DLC for it. They did the same with the original one, Homecoming, that Tom Holland was in as well, which is really cool to see these suits that are made in the movie into the game. So super fun. If you haven't played that game yet, pick those up. It's a lot of fun, and they already have tons of suits already. Any comments from you on this one? Ains, I know you're not too hot on it. Dan, you played the hell out of this game.
I'm literally playing through it again because of that stupid costume. I went and watched the movie, and I got home. I was like, well, I better just download those costumes. And now I'm playing a new game plus of Spider-Man, and I'm probably halfway through it.
Jesus.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
It's so good.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Yep.
Anytime you get free content that reinvigorates interest in the game, and obviously for fan service, like you said, for people who love Spider-Man and go see the new movie, it's awesome.
Yep. Another suit that's there's 2 other suits that are from the movies in it. It's the Iron Spider suit. The Iron Man suit that Tony Stark gives him in the movie, and also the one from Civil War. If you watch that one, is in the game as well.
That's the one.
So they pay a lot of fan service.
Yeah. That's the one I use for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see Ains just trolling you right now, Dan. Don't feed into it, Dan. He's trolling. He's trolling.
I was not.
Okay. So, so that's it for our news this week, folks. There's been a lot of just really small stories, not a lot of big, worthy breaking news that we have to cover with you and go into huge detail. But we do have another rumor for you, and like I mentioned probably 2 Bitcasts ago, this is probably the worst kept rumor going on right now in gaming when it comes to consoles. But we have another Nintendo Switch rumor. We've called it anywhere from a Nintendo Switch Pro. We've heard Nintendo Switch Lite. We've heard all these different things. The latest rumor is that it's one big piece without detachable Joy-Cons. So one of the biggest things that you do today with the Switch is you remove the Joy-Cons, you put it into a controller type thing. But it is also rumored to have more power, and as we've been dreaming for, a 1080p screen. So this is the latest one. I think Nintendo has to do something from a hardware perspective that is going to get people to buy another one, which we will probably do here, all 3 of us, but I'm going to be holding off as long as I can. What do you think about this one, guys? Another rumor on the Switch. So, do we even care at this point? Are we going to wait till we see something? What are we thinking?
Yeah, I need to see something at this point. I want the more power. I want the 1080p screen, but I also just don't want Nintendo to say it has more power in a 1080p screen, but then the games run the same. Because we've seen games be poorly optimized on the Switch. So until I actually see it running games at an improved resolution or frame rate, I'm not moving a muscle. So,
yeah, I'm probably the same way. I'd like the screen to be the same size.
I like it to be bigger, honestly.
Yeah, or bigger, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing, and it takes away. I mean, with the Joy-Cons, a lot of games kind of rely on those to pull off and use them as motion controllers.
They do. That's why I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, so it's gonna right off the bat eliminate. I mean, I guess you could still do it if you went and bought separate Joy-Cons, assuming that you can connect them.
Or Pro.
Yeah, or Pro. Yeah, it's a weird move if it's true by Nintendo. But I mean, this is what it should have been when it came out in the first place. So I don't know why they waited so long to do this.
Yeah, definitely a weird thing here. I mean, like we were talking about, I think a few Bitcasts ago, they have to do something to stay relevant from just a hardware perspective with the PlayStation 5 and next Xbox coming right around the corner. I mean, it's going to be weird if in 2020 we're playing these next-gen, 4K, 60, 120, whatever it is that's happening, and people are still like, hey, check out my 720 Switch game. It's here we are tearing it up with Mario Odyssey 2 at 720.
The original Xbox could run 1080i on games.
That's true. That's such a weird thing, but it is what it is. We'll be excited when we actually hear something. Like I said jokingly, I'm going to try to hold off, but I'll probably be pressing that pre-order button the second I hear about it. So,
knowing all of us, we probably will. It was weird because I was playing Breath of the Wild the other day, and I got to the Korok Forest to get the Master Sword, and the frame rate drops to 10 when you're walking through there. It's really bad. I took a video of it, and funny enough, one of the Nintendo guys that follows me said if you play it on the Wii U, it doesn't have that problem. It doesn't drop.
That's crazy.
So, and that's what I'm talking about with software optimization. Just saying it has more power doesn't mean anything. The software has to be optimized for it. So I'm going to wait to see that.
Yeah, a little reason for that, I think I told you about that too, Ains, is that the game was initially designed for the Wii U.
Yep.
So with that being said, they try to just push more resolution into the Switch version, and in doing so, that's not the only place. A lot of people have said there's other places when you're in that final castle. I won't ruin anything for you, but the frame rate stays constant on the Wii U almost the entire game, whereas on the Switch it jumps up and down all over the place. So
I don't even play it portable. I should have just bought it for my Wii U.
Yep, I still kind of want to, just from a collecting perspective, but who knows? It may not be worth it. Anyways, folks, that's our news and rumors for this week. Let's talk about what we're playing. So, Dan, I'll start out with you. You're always playing 5 different games, so what are you currently playing?
SpiderMan. Talked about that. I also finished Judgment, Blood and Truth. That was pretty quick. For the VR, more my friend Pedro. I cannot, for some reason, make myself go past level 4 because I want to keep getting higher grades because you get scored, how you do in each level. I don't know what else. I just pre-ordered Wolfenstein, so.
Oh, that's coming soon.
It's coming out here pretty quick. I've been playing a lot of games. Mostly lately has been SpiderMan after I saw the movie. So,
movie good?
Nice.
It was very, very good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But, Tom Holland is no Nathan Drake. I will say that.
Yep. Without ruining it for folks, if you like Mysterio as a villain in Spider-Man, watch this movie. That's all I can tell you.
On it.
They do him justice, unlike other movies where the villains are just ruined. They do him justice. So.
Well, that's good.
Yep.
Ains,
how about yourself? I know you've been working on a big game.
Yes, Breath of the Wild. So I near the end of what I'm going to play through. I mean, there's plenty more I could do in the world, but I want to actually finish the story. So I got the Master Sword just Saturday as we're recording this, and all the beasts are down, and I've unlocked the whole map and done all the towers, so it's time to go finish, I think. So I'm enjoying it. Like I said, not much change from last time I talked about it. I think I'm actually debating writing an article about it around some of the things that I think get overlooked with it, but also highlight some of the good things about it. So I don't know. We'll see. And then I started Divinity Original Sin 2. That, if you've missed it, that game's actually been discounted down to $19.99 now on Xbox and PS4. And it's one I've heard nothing but amazing things about. Some people call it one of the greatest RPGs ever made. And so it's really up my alley. Western RPG, isometric, very, very deep character building. I spent half an hour creating my character the other day. And I just started that. So it looks to be incredibly complex, especially the controls.
Oh, yeah.
So I've heard that it may be better to play on PC, just from a keyboard mouse perspective, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to that. And then, as you know, Bert, I ran my Extra Life stream this past weekend, and we've been playing a lot of Battle Royale, so not just for the stream, but PUBG and revisiting Apex Season 2 and even revisiting some Blackout. So having fun with all of that, but I think PUBG is still the go-to, my opinion.
Nice. Yeah, so my stuff has been kind of lame lately. I haven't had as much time to game, but I did join Ains on his stream for 19 hours.
It was
for Battle
long.
Royale World. So that was fun. We ended up finding out that if you don't stick with some of these games, that you easily become outplayed and very few skill left over for yourself. We sucked it up big time on Blackout.
Yep.
We actually got a champion winning for Apex Legends,
Yep.
and we almost won in PUBG, but we keep getting close every single time. We're always in the top 10 minimum, so that's always something good to see. But still some heartbreak in that game. If you get to second place 3 times in a row, you kind of want to shoot yourself.
We've gotten second place like 7 times in the past week. It's ridiculous.
I finished Darksiders 3 last week when I talked about it, so in doing so, that made me want to go back and get items from Darksiders 1. That game has aged really well, surprisingly, on the remaster. If you have not picked up the series or even started it and are maybe interested in it, I think it's still playable. Even the original 360 title is enhanced now, so some people say that the enhanced version looks better than the remaster after that upload. So that's always cool to see. And I did start up Yakuza 0 again, and I did put it back down like I did the first time. So I need to push through on it, and it needs to be one of those games where I force myself to play and I don't play anything else. The other game that I have that with is Nier Automata, and as I had one of our good buddies, Trey, in town, he wanted to force me to play it, but we just didn't get to it, so we ran out of time. So I'll get to that eventually. But without further ado, Dan, I'm going to turn it over to you. You're going to go through the Judgment review with us, which is kind of in the same vein of Yakuza, because it comes from Yakuza. But why don't you tell us a little bit about Judgment? It did release here in the past couple weeks, so I'm sure a lot of people are kind of waiting to hear your opinion.
Well, that's good because it's on seasongaming.com right now. You can go read it. But if you're watching the video...
Are you talking about right now, Dan?
Right now.
Right now.
At this very moment.
What?
It's crazy. Technology.
Mm-hmm.
So you could listen to this while reading it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's going to be completely different than what you're actually going to read. No, I'll try to keep it kind of short. If you've played Yakuza games before, you will, and you enjoyed them, you'll basically know what Judgment is.
And done.
Yeah, and that was the entire review. Okay, so the thing about the Yakuza series is that what's nice about it is that you play as the same character pretty much throughout. You play as Kazuma Kiryu, or Kiru, as everybody else calls him, or Kazuma-san. I know I'm not Japanese, so I'm going to probably butcher a lot of this stuff. So I was very hesitant in playing basically what amounts to the same game as somebody else because I've become so attached to Kiru. But the studio that did it, I think it's Ryu Gotaka or something. I can't even say it. My Japanese is terrible. But They have a new character, a different little take. You're still in Kamurocho, which is kind of a play on a area of Tokyo, if I'm not mistaken, that has all the glitzy, glamoury, flashy neon signs and stuff, and the kind of seedy red light district, which is right up my alley. Excuse me. It's basically the same thing. There's a few different mechanics in the game. You are instead of being a Yakuza this time around, or a former Yakuza, you are a detective, former lawyer, that is basically investigating a bigger, I want to say it, just a big mystery going on in the game. And that's your main story. Now, with any part of the Yakuza series, you get kind of pushed in different directions, lots and lots of side missions. The new mechanic that they use in this one is kind of a friendship deal where you'll befriend, like, say, a restaurateur or somebody that's in there, or somebody that's just hanging around on the side of the road, and you do like a small mission, like go find their cats. Sounds weird, but then they'll become your friend. You might be walking down the road and some people jump you, and all of a sudden this guy from the convenience store throws you some hot sauce, and you use the hot sauce to attack your enemies. And the first time that happened, I was like, what just happened? It says press triangle, because it's kind of a quick time event, and you see this girl throwing hot sauce at you. I've never missed it, so I'm wondering if like you don't press the button, if it hits you in the face. So I kind of have to go back and try that out. But anyway, all those people end up helping you, and it kind of unlocks more missions as you go along, that reputation that you have in the city. But for the most part, it's the combat is almost identical to Yakuza, even though the Yakuza combat basically it stayed the same throughout the series as far as I can tell. Like there's different fighting styles and stuff. This one has two. One if you're taking on multiple people, one if you're taking on just a single person. But it's if you like those games, it really lives up to the hype. They did a really, really good job introducing a new character, making you care about this new character and all the other new characters. There's also some smaller characters throughout the game that you'll run into from the older games. Not any big ones, but like I don't want to say it. There's a bartender that's a man that dresses as a woman. So I'm not sure what that's called, but he's got a mustache. His name is Mama, one of my favorite characters in the Yakuza game, and she is in it. I'm gonna probably butcher this whole thing, but stuff like that, just little callbacks to the old Yakuza games, which is kind of fun. So if you're a big fan of them, I say check it out. It's not gonna blow your socks off with any kind of new, crazy gameplay. So it is what it is. I'm hoping for a sequel, and then possibly 4 more after that. So I love that world. I love Kamurocho. I love going there, and I feel like I know the town. Like, if you want some chicken, we'll go to Wild Jackson's. We can go to Bartender is actually what the bar is called. Go get some beers. I know where all this stuff is, which is crazy. I'm not sure if it's actual real life. Like if I go to Japan, like I can go to this area and go, hey, I know where this is. No idea. Probably not. But if I'm in the game, I can take you on a tour. So let me know. Hit me up. We'll do it.
Cool.
Yep. So there you go, guys. So if you're into those types of games, it looks like Judgment might be right down your alley. Take a look at the written review when you get a moment, and you can definitely choose for yourself if you're going to pick this one up. So we're going to close out our Bitcast with Name That Game, folks. So I'm actually nope, you're incorrect. Choosing the game this time, and I will be quizzing Ains and Dan. I will tell you guys it is challenging, but
here we go.
it is something that they should be able to get. So let me start out. Are you guys ready? Dan, you're going to go first this time.
Have I ever gotten one from you? I don't know if I've ever gotten a bird.
You have.
A bird?
A bird?
No.
I think you have, but we'll find out.
Hail to the boomstick.
All right.
Hail to the boomstick. That's my first guess.
All right, Dan, you go first.
So
go for it.
Bring it on.
Here we go. So this is a 2-part clue. I'm going to kick it off this way. It is considered by many as one of the top 50 games of all time, and it did release in 1995.
All right.
Five.
It's PlayStation time-ish.
I got a cough.
95. We'll say Parasite Eve. I don't even know if we've ever done it before. The first one.
Parasite Eve.
No, I'm always going to say it.
That's
Evil Dead.
all right.
Hail to my
It is
boomstick.
not Parasite Eve. Ains, you want to take a guess on this one?
Yeah. I am going to go with Secret of Mana.
No, fantastic game though. One of my favorites of all time. Good guess. Okay, this game had a sequel that was released in Japan only on the Game Boy Advance in 2006.
Jeez.
And it's still Ains's, so
Yeah.
we got Ains. I'll repeat that. It had a sequel that was released in Japan only on the Game Boy Advance in 2006.
Zelda: Link to the Past.
Nice.
No, incorrect. But that's actually not a bad guess. There's some good ones there. Dan, you're up.
The original Sonic.
God damn it.
If I don't know it, I'm not gonna throw it out there. It's gonna be. You're gonna have to guess at least once during this.
No, that is incorrect. Here's your next clue, gentlemen. The composer to the game was heavily inspired by the Beach Boys. The Beach Boys.
Oh boy.
Surfing USA. Think of the game.
No.
What's that one with the drive? What's the driving one?
I don't think
Cruising
Surfing
USA.
USA was
That's
in the top 50 games of all time.
I tried. Not really.
I will tell you the clues get a little easier. But go ahead, Ains.
Oh boy. Let's go with
95.
oof. God. I don't have it. Final Fantasy 3 US.
No, but that is a fantastic guess. That is incorrect.
Yeah,
Dan, did you guess on this clue already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was first.
Okay, so Sonic.
It's to me now.
Sonic was your guess from?
No,
Beach
he
Boys?
said Cruising USA or.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, the next clue is this game that we're talking about is actually part 2 to the series and is considered the most famous in the series. So I did mention there's a sequel to the game that we're talking about on Game Boy Advance, which is actually part 3. The game that you're guessing is actually a sequel. And it's the most famous in the series.
Chrono Trigger.
No, fantastic game though. You're getting warm. I will tell you, you guys are getting warm. You're in the right time period. Everything.
I'm always in the right time period. It just
I'm
takes me
never
a while to
in the right
get
time
to the game.
All right. So.
Unlike Cruising USA over here.
Yeah, Cruising USA 3. I think
Do you want me to repeat the clue there, Dan?
Yeah, no? Okay, so there was a third one released in 2006, right?
Yeah, the third game in this franchise released in 2006, and it was on the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
The game that you're trying to guess is actually a sequel, and it is considered the most famous in the franchise, in the series. Chrono Trigger 2. God damn it, Dan. Okay. Alright. In this game, you walk around in a party of 4 people, and that type of gameplay heavily influenced the South Park series. I'm not sure if you knew that about this game. So Trey Parker and Matt Stone said that this game was one of their favorite as a kid, and it heavily influenced South Park.
I don't know this game. Damn it.
No, it is not Xenogears, which is actually a good game. I think that one came out on the PlayStation.
Jeez.
No, another fantastic game that I actually like quite a bit on the PlayStation. So that is incorrect. Your next clue, gentlemen. I'm surprised it's gotten this far. The main character of this game has appeared in many Super Smash Brothers games.
I can picture him.
No, I love that game actually, but thank you for bringing that one up. Dan. The next clue will give it away it better. If you guys don't, you guys can't consider yourselves gamers anymore. Phantasy Star 8.
If I'm not going to get it right, I know. I'm just going to throw...
Never been a character from Phantasy Star in Super Smash, but... Damn.
Yeah,
okay. The main character's name is Ness. Ness. Yep. Just like the Loch Ness. Ness. No. Oh my gosh. We're getting close to the last few clues here. We're on clue 8 right now. Nope, it's not Paperboy. No, I think that was one of the games you had in the past as a name that game. Yep. No. Okay. The name of the series in Japan is called Mother. It is Earthbound. It is Earthbound. Son of a gun, you guys. 9 questions. Yeah. Love the game. It did come out later in the Super Nintendo life, so a lot of people didn't get to play it. We only got Earthbound. We did not get Mother 1, which I guess is just called Mother. Mother 2 is actually Earthbound, and that's the one we got here in the States. And then we technically got Mother 3, but it was on the Game Boy Advance. So we have not seen the Mother or Earthbound series since then. There's been a lot of talk that they have been working on one secretly for the Switch, but I will not believe anything about Switch news until I see something. So that's the name of that game. Yep. Is it on the Super Nintendo Mini? I think it is. Yeah. I was just turning around to see if it was, because it would have been on the front cover. But that's a fantastic game. Play it if you haven't. Thanks for playing Name That Game. If you got it way ahead of us, let us know in the comments. So with that being said, guys, that is the end of our Bitcast. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't left a comment on maybe one of the guesses that you got, please let us know. Ains, Dan, anything you guys want to close out with before I close out the overall episode?
No, just that we got...
Yep. Dan, where can we find you, sir? All right, guys. Great. For folks, I did mention there was some reviews coming from me. I'm in the process of moving. As you can see, stuff disappearing from my shelf behind me as we speak, and after we hang up, I'll be moving some more stuff. Once I get set up at the new place, I'll have about 3 or 4 videos that we'll release. So we have some fun stuff coming around the corner for you. Once again, thanks for listening. If you haven't, make sure to like and subscribe this video, and catch us on our next Bitcast next week. Thanks for watching.